Fans, can we talk about the finale for a second?
It's been a bit of a tough adjustment in our house, but overall it's good. I have two other daughters. My oldest is completely obsessed with the baby, while my middle child isn't quite as interested. Still, I feel honored, especially knowing how meaningful this whole situation is and how much attention it's getting. There's a lot of anticipation, and so many people are talking about it and wanting to see how things unfold. At this point, Brian Friedman, the lawyer for Justin Baldoni, seems almost celebratory. Think the case had already been won, and honestly, with the newly leaked footage, it's starting to look like that could be the case. The material may serve as key evidence suggesting that Blake Lively allegedly overstepped and took control of the film from Justin. As more details come out, the situation appears to be getting worse for her. At the same time, the Grammy Awards 2025 were a complete mess in a totally different way. I'm seriously considering starting a petition to fire every celebrity stylist involved. Some of those outfits were unbelievably bad, like they were thrown together at the last minute or styled without any thought. It honestly looked like some stylists had been dragged straight from a brutal shift and sent onto the red carpet without preparation. But anyway, back to the main drama. Blake's situation continues to dominate headlines. After the first hearing, Brian Friedman went directly to the press, despite the judge warning both sides to stay quiet. Justin's team seems ready to move quickly and clear his name, while Brian has urged people not to jump to conclusions since more evidence is still coming out. Meanwhile, Blake's legal team appears overly confident, acting as if they've already won simply because the judge told both sides to behave. In reality, things haven't gone her way. She tried to secure a gag order to silence Justin's team and failed. She also attempted to avoid being deposed, but that didn't work either. Now Brian Friedman will be able to question her under oath, which could expose any inconsistencies or hidden details. The situation becomes even more intense with resurfaced clips that don't reflect well on her. In one video, Blake openly admits to sharing a rough cut of the film despite Sony Pictures clearly allowing only a limited portion to be shown. She reportedly screened the entire cut and laughed it off as if it wasn't a big deal. If she was referring to Sony, that's a serious issue. Even if she meant the audience, it still raises concerns about her judgment and control over the project. One major question keeps coming up: where was Justin during all of this? As more footage and details emerge, people are beginning to connect the dots. Justin was the one who discovered the book, secured the rights, and worked hard to bring the project to life. Yet it seems like Blake was making many of the major decisions. The leaked footage appears to support what many suspected, that she may have taken control in a way that wasn't entirely appropriate. The case is far from over, but with each new development, her position seems to weaken while Justin's credibility continues to grow. And then there's the Grammys again, which honestly deserve their own criticism. The 2025 show felt like total chaos in terms of fashion. Some celebrities looked like they had lost a bet before walking the red carpet. It's surprising, considering they have access to top designers and stylists, yet the results were still disappointing. At this point, it almost feels like some stars are being sabotaged by their own teams. The night wasn't just about questionable fashion either, it turned into a full spectacle. Billie Eilish and Taylor Swift left without major wins, clearly emotional, while Jay-Z and Beyoncé once again seemed to dominate the room with their presence. Then Kanye West made headlines for a controversial appearance with his wife, which many people found awkward and uncomfortable to watch. At this point, as a self-appointed fashion critic armed with nothing but observation, it feels necessary to call out these style disasters, jokingly hold stylists accountable, and point out what feels like a series of unforgivable fashion missteps. Let's start strong. Jaden Smith and Willow Smith are often pointed to as examples of celebrity kids trying to carve out their own identity, sometimes through bold and attention-grabbing choices. Jaden showed up with what looked like a full-on black structure built into his hair, paired with a Louis Vuitton suit that might have worked on its own, but was completely overshadowed by what was happening on his head. Social media had a lot to say, with people quickly comparing him to his father, Will Smith. As for Willow, experimentation is part of being young, and while some of her look worked, especially her other details sparked mixed reactions online. Billie Eilish stayed true to her usual effortless vibe, giving off that signature "I don't care" energy, though some wished she pushed things a bit further. Meanwhile, Cynthia Erivo impressed in a sleek blue and silver look that felt polished and confident. Chappell Roan went archival, wearing a vintage Jean-Paul Gaultier couture piece from 2003, striking theatrical and definitely memorable, even if it gave slightly eerie doll-like vibes. Sabrina Carpenter delivered one of the standout looks of the night in a powder blue gown by J.W. Anderson, channeling old Hollywood glamour with elegance and softness. In contrast, Kanye West once again became the center of controversy with his wife, Bianca Cesaro. What began as a seemingly modest arrival quickly turned into a viral moment when she removed her outer layer, leaving very little to the imagination, something that sparked strong reactions, especially considering the public setting. Elsewhere, some looks felt rushed or mismatched. Troye Sivan appeared like his outfit needed last-minute ironing, while Julia Fox went for a chaotic aesthetic that divided opinions. Joshua Bassett leaned into a nostalgic style that didn't quite land for everyone. And Poppy looked ready for an outdoor adventure rather than a red carpet. On the other hand, Janelle Monáe stood out in a bold, structured outfit that showcased her signature creativity, even if it gave slight uniform vibes. Then came Cardi B, who absolutely delivered in a dazzling Roberto Cavalli gown covered in sequins and feathers. It was dramatic, glamorous, and executed perfectly as one of the most polished looks of the night and a clear example of how to do statement fashion right. But beyond the outfits, the real entertainment came from the drama. The Grammy Awards 2025 had its fair share of surprising moments. One of the biggest shocks was seeing Olivia Rodrigo and Sabrina Carpenter appearing friendly, hugging and interacting warmly despite their rumored tension dating back to the Driver's License era and Sabrina's response track. Skin fans were quick to speculate. Was this a genuine reconciliation or just a public moment? And while that caught attention, Kendrick Lamar ended up making headlines in his own way, emerging as one of the night's biggest winners, but not without stirring conversation along the way. Kendrick Lamar really went and won 5 Grammys for Not Like US, a full-on diss track aimed at Drake. Imagine turning a feud into award-winning success. Social media had a field day with people joking that he's now the most decorated hater of all time. It was peak petty but undeniably iconic. But the biggest moment of the night, Beyoncé finally winning Album of the Year for Renaissance. After years of being overlooked in that category, she finally got her moment. And the Bayhive celebrated like it was a global holiday. Still, not everyone was convinced it was purely about the music. Some felt the Recording Academy was making up for past snubs. That conversation didn't come out of nowhere either. Just last year, Jay-Z openly criticized the Grammys for repeatedly overlooking Beyoncé in the Album of the Year category, calling it one of the biggest snubs in music history. So when she finally won on her 7th nomination, it felt both overdue and a little suspicious to some. People couldn't help but wonder, did it take that level of public pressure for her to finally get recognized? Meanwhile, Billie Eilish was caught on camera looking emotional when Beyoncé's name was announced, which only fueled more speculation. Was it just a powerful moment, or was there some disappointment after going home empty? Then came one of the most awkward moments of the night. Babyface, a legend in the industry, was abruptly cut off mid-interview by an Associated Press reporter on the red carpet. No warning, no smooth transition, just a hard stop. The internet immediately called it out as disrespectful, and while an apology came later, people weren't quick to forget. At the same time, the Grammys seemed eager to prove they've changed. The Recording Academy highlighted their expanded voting body of over 13,000 members as evidence of fairness and reform. But not everyone is buying it. After all, The Weeknd famously called the Grammys corrupt back in 2021, after being snubbed for After Hours and Blinding Lights. So even now, many fans remain skeptical. All in all, the Grammy Awards 2025 felt like a complete rollercoaster full of drama, surprises, and viral moments. From Olivia Rodrigo and Sabrina Carpenter appearing to squash their rumored tension, to Kendrick's headline-making wins, to Beyoncé finally claiming her long-awaited crown. It was a night people won't stop talking about anytime soon. And just when you thought things couldn't get any messier, Kanye West entered the chat again, before the Grammys even began. He posted a thank you to the Academy for nominating his song Carnival, only to wipe his Instagram clean right after and follow exactly one person, Taylor Swift. Yes, again the Swifties were on edge, hoping Kanye West wouldn't stir things up again with Taylor Swift. Everyone still remembers the 2009 MTV Video Music Awards 2009 moment when Kanye interrupted Taylor on stage, something that should have been the end of it, but it wasn't. Years later, he reignited the drama with his song Famous, and the tension between them only grew. Fast forward to the Grammy Awards 2025, and Kanye once again made sure all eyes were on him, this time with Bianca and they arrived together, instantly drawing attention. At first, Bianca appeared covered up, but when she removed her coat, the outfit underneath was extremely revealing, sparking widespread reactions online and in the media. The moment quickly went viral, with many people questioning whether it crossed the line for such a public event. Things escalated further when rumors spread that they had been removed from the event, though reports suggested they weren't officially part of the guest list to begin with. Either way, they made their impact, got people talking, and then disappeared just as quickly, almost like it was all planned. Kanye didn't stop there. He took to social media, calling Bianca's look custom couture, before once again shifting attention by unfollowing Taylor Swift. The timing didn't go unnoticed, and many saw it as another deliberate move to keep the spotlight on himself. To top it all off, a Yeezy ad aired during the show, promoting low-cost clothing and hinting at new music. That led a lot of people to believe the entire appearance may have been more about marketing than anything else. At this point, it feels like Kanye and Bianca are operating in their own world, creating moments designed to grab attention and dominate headlines. Whether intentional or not, it worked, but it also left many wondering if it was really necessary. And honestly, maybe the best response now is simply to stop feeding into it.